Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bucs Bounty. Once again, in person. This is going to be a normal thing, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, look at that.
Slapped you last time.
You did. I'm wearing a suit. Michael's wearing a hoodie, a sleeveless hoodie.
Somebody came for PT, all right?
Yeah, we can decide who looks better. We'll let you guys decide. But thank you for joining us here on Bucs Bounty. It's been a really good start for the Pirates season. We are filming this on Tuesday, April 7th. So unfortunately, last night, the Padres came into town, won the first game of the series. Not the best played game by the Pirates so far, but overall, it has been a really good start to the season. Michael McKenry, Steven Brault here with you. Let's talk about that beginning of the season, right? We're talking about changing the narrative as to what this team is going to be and how they're going to be different from last year. What's bigger for you? The fact that they're 3-0 in one-run games so far after losing so many one-run games last year, or is it a bigger deal to have 3 blowouts, 2 games where you won 8-3, 1 game where you won 8-2 so far? What do you think is more important?
Why are you putting me on the spot?
Because that's what I like to do, man.
I don't like it.
I know.
I think they're both equally as good. I do love the one-run games. I think we're going to win a lot more of those this year. Obviously, we're almost the worst in the league last year when it comes to one-run games. But our offense, right? We don't have Azuna hitting yet. Or Griffin, he's going to struggle at times. He's also going to explode at times. Both guys not doing a whole lot. And that's good because we're still winning baseball games. A lot of guys are stepping up. We can win a bunch of different ways. I think the biggest thing is, and I always talk about identity. I feel like this team has an identity, and it's adaptability for me. Like they can adapt to win on any given day with different guys, whether it's Soto closing or Santana closing, whether it's Lau stepping up, O'Hearn stepping up, Brian Reynolds, and Odell Cruz, right? There's a lot of guys that are stepping up a bunch of different ways. It feels completely different than it has in the last 9-10 years. I mean, it just seems like Donnie's really kind of brought these guys together in a different way. That speech dating back to spring training, Stephen, I think set the tone to say, hey, we're going to embrace the past and the present and the city and run forward. That's our identity, and they've really done a great job so far.
And you're embracing the future, too, bringing up Connor Griffin so early in the season. They're only 19 years old. Do you like that? That was pretty good. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is a question I'm going to ask you, but I'll answer it first so that you don't have to feel put on the spot. And you can think about it a little bit. Yeah. So anybody that's really impressed you here in the early goings, okay? I'll start. I'm going to go Braxton Ashcraft, okay? There's obviously a lot of good performances going along with the new guys on the team. Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, especially. We're seeing some really good performances out of them. But Braxton Ashcraft is a guy that we saw up and down last year, figuring out, is this guy going to be in the bullpen? Is this guy going to be a starter? I think there was a time where both of us last year were like, this guy would be so good at the back end of the bullpen, right? And then you see what he's done so far this year in the starting rotation. 2 starts. He's been fantastic. He's gone 6 innings both times. His first start, he didn't even have his good stuff, still goes 6 innings. 4 walks, but then his second start, he comes out, he gets 8 strikeouts, no walks, only 1 run in 6 innings. For me, he's the guy we always look for, who are the guys that are going to step up and that are really going to make this team not just okay, but actually a good team. And in order to do that, yeah, you can bring guys in and you expect Paul Skeens to be great. You're hoping Bubba Chandler's going to really figure it out, put himself at the top of that rotation as well. But when you have new guys who have been around a little bit that you're kind of still waiting to see how they're going to perform, Braxton Ashcraft was great last year. He's been amazing so far. 6 innings, both of his starts, both quality starts. I think for me, he has been the most impressive. And going forward, if he continues to play like this, he'll be one of the reasons this team is able to push into the playoffs. What do you got?
I got Nick Gonzalez. And the reason being is you go in the offseason and all you hear is buzz. We need a third baseman. They go get Lau. Obviously, Gonzalez is like, oh, no. Where am I fitting now? He moves to shortstop, spring training. Triolo takes over shortstop. World Baseball Classic, he's playing second base. All of a sudden, he's our starting third baseman. And guess what? It's just been a rotation of like second base, shortstop, third base. And he has literally stayed here. You haven't noticed him on defense. He's been great. He hits just about every time he's played. He's got one of the best batting averages on our team. I think he's just embraced, hey, this is who I am. My approach fits. Not playing every day. You brought that up in another Bucs Bounty. And I think that's important because he's going to be a piece that if he can hit that 7-hole, right?
Yeah.
And he can be the guy we want him to be over the last couple of years and stay healthy, he's a game changer because he lengthens the lineup. Then you put York in, another guy that I really have liked so far. Similar guy, maybe a little bit more power, not as good defensively. But those 2 guys are really important. And I'm going to throw it right back to you. There's a guy that both of us agree that has really stood out to us, and that's Mitch Keller.
Oh, yeah, Mitch Keller. I mean, if we're going pitching, I absolutely love what he's doing. Because for me, it's the way he's pitching, right? It seems so mature. Exactly. 1-2. We're going to keep that going because he's pretty good at those quality starts. I think 5th in Major League Baseball over the last 3 years. But for Mitch, for me, it's more about that maturity. He has clearly taken the full veteran role to a whole new level. I think that's who he's been the whole time mentally, right? But he didn't have quite the knowledge of himself to actually be able to go out and perform that way. But now the velocity down a little bit, I think is going to help him. I think he's going to be better. So I do think we're going to see the best that we've seen of Mitch Keller so far. And one of the things I like about Nick Gonzalez, we talk about how we want that power to come a little bit more. But if he's hitting over 300 in that 7-hole with an OPS in the low to mid 700s, but he's hitting over 300, he's getting on base all the time, he's going to score some RBIs because there will be guys getting on base. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and to that point, because you induce so much power in our lineup, right, he doesn't have to worry about it. True. I think at times when you chase it and you're a really good bat-to-ball guy, right, because he swings and misses and chases sometimes, but we love that because we want to be aggressive. He doesn't have to chase it, so maybe it just shows up. I think that's the most important thing because he's a little guy. I was a little guy with pop and get you in trouble.
If you try to go for it.
Yeah. It's the accidental home runs where you're facing guys that, hey, they throw it into that bat plane where you're like, oops, I got him. And we hope to see him do it to right center, be that right-hander that hits it into that jet stream that kind of blows across at PNC, because you're not going to have a lot of power if you're trying to hit that ball in left center. It's just really, really tough. I was talking to Henry about it the other day. That notch is awful for right-handed power hitters. So, if you can think that way but not try to do too much, it's just going to make you better.
I'm curious to see as the season goes on. We talk about those one-run games, right? The bullpen is a little bit differently made up than we've seen in the past. And once again, last night against the Padres, we saw Matson and Lawrence come back-to-back, right? Those two guys seem like they're paired up in the same way that Dennis Santana and Gregory Soto are paired up in the back of the bullpen. It's really interesting to me because when you lose David Bednar, you assume that this bullpen is going to struggle. And at times this season, they have, right? We've seen Justin Lawrence kind of lose his command a little bit at times. Last year, that meant that he would just walk a few guys. This year, it's almost worse that his losing the command is staying in the zone. Right? Because he's giving up some hard hit balls, but he's a guy that I think he's gonna really get better as the season goes on, gets more comfortable. He was hurt like all of last year, right? So there's gonna be a little bit of time coming back to it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, if you look back at his sample size last year, when he pitches more, he's better.
It's true.
I mean, that's an awkward release. He has a hard time staying in the zone. So the fact is, he didn't pitch for a while. He didn't pitch well opening day because of that. And then he didn't pitch for a while, pitched yesterday, didn't pitch very well. But he is missing in the middle, to your point. Yeah. I think he just has more life. I think almost when he doesn't pitch enough, he's too strong. Ooh. He throws through the break, and then he maybe doesn't have the feel. The spin kind of goes this way, says that sharp break. But, I mean, his stuff is just disgusting. Yeah.
Right now we're seeing him hook the sinker a little bit. Hook that sinker a little bit, not getting that nasty movement. We don't like playing hooky. It's not senior ditch day here in Pittsburgh.
Bueller.
No. Okay, so we mentioned this guy before early in this, but we purposely glazed over him a little bit because now we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about O'Neal Cruz. Because O'Neal Cruz, his showing so far, hitting left-handers especially, has been absurd. And we want to talk about that because last year, 102 against left-handed pitchers.
Not exit velocity, folks.
No, unfortunately. That's the batting average. And only 1 home run, right? And so this year, we've already seen him. He's already got 7 hits. He's 7 for 11 against lefties, okay? He's got 3 home runs against lefties. He had 11 total hits against lefties last year throughout the whole season.
I think he's going to beat that.
I think he's going to beat that, too. I wanted to ask you a little bit of a different framed question here. As a position player, you go into the offseason, you know you have something to work on. Obviously, we've all heard the story now. O'Neal Cruz literally hired somebody to come out and just throw him from the left-hand side so he could get used to it and get more live at-bats, right? As a position player, how do you make those adjustments in the offseason? Because you don't want to lose what you had before. You don't want to not be able to hit righties now and only face lefties all the time. Where's the balance in that? Like, how do you get ready for the next season when there's a clear goal that you want to improve for the next year?
Yeah, I think you kind of have to have a balanced approach, right? What do I want to work on? We're going to make the biggest jump. Obviously, hitting at lefties. Yeah. He wants to be in the lineup every day. His defense, he took a lot of time, spent some time with Kiermaier. But then you want to make sure that you don't lose what you're really good at in Cruz. He's really good at hitting the heater, right? Yep. So he needs to work on hitting the spin. So in the offseason, you're going to see spin from maybe some machines. Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that he went and got an arm, right? because you want to understand angles.
It's a lot different than a machine throwing left-handed than a
no
guy throwing left-handed.
Exactly. There's no rhythm. There's no time. You have a guy throwing to you. He can throw straight. He can throw here. He can throw here, which mimics a breaking ball. And then he can actually mess his timing up, which I think is really important for O'Neal. Big body dude. He can slide step. He can go big leg kick. He maybe spin some breaking balls. So he sees it, and then he can say, okay, what do I want to do with this pitch? If I'm on time and I get it out front, I'm golden, but can I cover the fastball away if he dots it here and hit it this way? So it gives him a chance to fail. I think that's the biggest thing in the offseason is when you go in, you don't try to chase perfection. You understand your A swing. You're going to win most games with your C swing. And I think he understands, hey, I have a two-strike approach. I know what I want to try to do to my best capability is stay that left center side. And if I get a breaking ball, I may catch it out in front, but I can at least poke it. And then I have to trust that inside I'll get there, which he did just the other day. So, yeah, I think it's a balanced approach, but that's what's cool about the information. We didn't have that. It was coming into play. Yeah. It gives you a chance to level up, but the ownership of what he did, right? If the team's telling you to do it, you're like, oh, okay, they want me to do this. It's honestly, it's like you have to do it, take responsibility, and he did. That's important.
It's interesting because now we're seeing him really his front shoulder staying in against those lefties. Unfortunately, right now, it looks like when he sees righties, he's like so excited that he ends up flying open a little bit on those swings. He's like, oh my gosh, I can see the ball so well. And so he ends up kind of reaching out in front. So I'm curious to see how that balance is going to come back. Obviously, he's not going to hit 700 against lefties this year. He might, but I don't think he will. But for him, just seeing that improvement, one thing that it shows to me that's really important is that he can make those adjustments, right? And so because he's able to make that adjustment, I have more trust in the adjustments that need to be made on the defensive side as well. You know what I mean? 100%. Once he just gets more experience doing it, it's hard. You move out to a new position that he never played his entire life. It's going to be difficult to make that transition. No excuses. This is the big leagues. If you're a big league center fielder, you got to make those plays. But since that first game, things have been better. He's been a little bit too aggressive in the outfield alleys a little bit, but you'd rather have him do that and then pull it back a little bit once he starts to feel comfortable.
Yeah, one of my favorite people of all time, a coach of mine, Jerry Weinstein, said, I'd rather have a bull that I have to tame than a donkey that I got to pull along. And that's the reality, right?
That's good, yeah.
So you're saying go get it, and then let's pull back because he's learning O'Hearn, right? He had Reynolds and Wright. And nobody really talks about this. We talk about this a lot. When you're changing outfielders and you have a freaking center who's trying to learn it, he's got to take charge. And if he doesn't, there's going to be problems because these guys are terrified to run into him because he gets the balls that most guys don't, right? And he'll get to them and maybe overrun them because he's not used to that spacing. He's not used to the flight of the ball. There's a lot of things going on. You know better than I do, Steven. You played more center field. I played the corners, but I knew if I hit the center fielder, I was in trouble. Right? I mean, that's. And
you're kind of wrong if you are hitting the center field.
Exactly, because it's always his priority. That's how it goes. And one thing we've noticed with O'Neal Cruz, he's pulling the ball in the air more often. Why is that important? Because
that's how you hit homers.
Right? That's how you hit homers. And he's going to miss hit homers a lot if he's pulling the ball in the air. Last year, how often, even though his exit velocity and his numbers looked incredible on Savant, on all the underlying numbers, you're like, yes, this dude's going to take off at some point. He still wasn't getting the ball in the air.
That's true, yeah. You want to be able to see him get the ball in the air. Especially if you want to see anybody get the ball in the air, it's O'Neal Cruz. Exactly. Okay, so we're going to lead this into an interview that you did with one of the Pirates greats, a guy that I played catch with one time.
And you were terrified.
I was terrified. I was in the minor leagues. I had just got above A ball, and they say, hey, spring training, we got a guy coming down to play catch with you today before you guys go into the game. And it's AJ Burnett. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What? And then he takes me out to the field and he goes, all right, kid, why don't you walk and just go as far as you want and let me know when you're good. And I was like, are you seriously going to do this to me, man?
Yeah, yes.
And I thought I was going to do everything wrong. I kept asking him, oh, is 90 feet good? Is 120 feet good? And he just kept going, yeah, man, whatever you want. And the whole time I was like, he's testing me, man. Yeah. He's going to roast me. Yeah. Turns out, awesome guy, super helpful. We talked about pitching for a while after I came in. Of course, we're talking about AJ Burnett. You had an interview with him. You talked to him for a long time. We're going to lead to that now, but quickly before we do that, just kind of give us a quick little summary of what you guys talked about.
I think you're going to get to see a lot of different versions of AJ because we're going to go from his background all the way into high school, some of the troublemaking he was into, kind of how he got drafted, which was kind of a fluky thing. His best friend couldn't pitch. He jumped in. All of a sudden, he was drafted. why he didn't go to college, why he chose to go to pro ball, and then kind of every step of his journey. And then we get into him becoming a Bucko and becoming Batman and how much he loves his city. And honestly, dude, I don't know if you can ask for a better teammate, the guy that's always the same dude no matter what. He has appreciation for his teammates almost like no other. I mean, there's very few guys. I feel like we fall in that realm, not to toot our own horn, but it's real. Like, we loved our teammates, good, bad, or ugly, because we saw them for who they are. And he did a great job of that, even though he was hard, but he'd also keep you accountable. So it's a really good interview. I really enjoyed it. We probably had 50 minutes even before we started telling jokes and doing stuff. He's just a great dude, and I'm happy he's back in the Berg and part of this, the commercial they did with the new jerseys.
Yeah.
I mean, who else could have done that?
Exactly.
So.
Well, thank you for joining us on Bucs Bounty. We love having you. Please like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Michael McKenry, Steven Brault. Please enjoy this interview that Michael did with AJ Burnett.
No one destroys a baseball like O'Neal Cruz.
That is the hardest hit ball in known Major League history.
Pitchers should consider themselves warned.
And it is gone! There's a Cruz missile!
Log in with your cable provider and stream the Pirates all season long on SNP 360.
We have maybe my favorite guest yet to come on Bucs Bounty. It's AJ Burnett, the ultimate teammate, the ultimate competitor, and the ultimate off-road extraordinaire. Maybe, I don't know how to say that. That works. How you doing?
It does work. It does work. I'm doing good. I think it depends on who you ask, but I think I'd have to be a Yinzer. But if you ask my mom, I'm probably a Yonzer. But if you ask Pittsburgh, I'm a Yinzer. So depends on who you ask, Mac.
Yeah, I like that.
But I'm doing great. I'm just living. I'm living. Enjoying life day by day. Just doing my thing.
It's amazing. So I want to kind of walk through your story. I've heard bits and pieces, but I want to go all the way back. AJ Burnett in Arkansas, Christian school, throwing absolute pills, punching tickets. How did it all begin? Where'd your love for baseball start? And, what kind of drove you to want to be a Major League Baseball player?
That's a heck of a starting question, man.
That's what I like to do.
So that's good. I like it. I grew up, baseball family, obviously. My brother was a stud. I just basically played because my dad made me play.
Come on.
As I got older, no, at a younger age, at a young age.
Okay.
I'd rather be outside blowing up Rambo with bottle rockets. I'd rather be outside shooting birds with the BB guns, something like that. But the older I got, once I got into high school, I realized, that I could play this game and that I had a chance at it. And that was when the big choice came was, do I go to college or do I, sign in the minor leagues? And,
was there a moment in
I was
high school that
actually
it clicked like that for you?
Man, my high school is so
you probably were a
weird.
late bloomer, right?
Well, I didn't throw a lot. So my sophomore year, I had, that's when I tore my ACL. I went up for a dunk and never left the ground. My junior year, I decided I wasn't going to do the work. So I became ineligible. Didn't pitch that year. Basically pitched like 4 games my senior year, I think, or 5. And I got seen at the right time at the right spot. I played against a big school that we had some scouts there that were looking at a shortstop, maybe another position player. I don't know, but I shoved like, 7 strong, tickets, 2 jacks, still hit 2 jacks, but it was my best friend to this day, Chris's day to start. So my buddy Chris, we talk about it all the time. He couldn't go. So I threw on early rest against his team. And that's when I first got saw was that game. And then after that, they started, here and there. But as my senior year progressed, I just started getting bigger and stronger. Like you said, that's kind of when it all started coming back.
Yeah. I just remember your boys sprouting up a little bit later. So I figured you were probably a late bloomer. So you didn't throw your sophomore year.
Don't say that to them, dude. They'll be mad. Don't say that to them.
Why?
AJ hates it because he can dunk now, and he's like, man, why couldn't I do that in high school, man? Why couldn't I'm like, hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Just let him know that I was 5'9" when I was 12, hanging on the rim, and then I was still 5'9" at 23, hanging on the rim. Never grew an inch.
I will.
So,
I will.
I thought I was going to be a giant. Dream was to play in the NBA. Didn't work out. Wanted to be a shooting guard. but they don't take 5'9" white guys. So yeah, just tell him that he'll feel better about himself. So I want to
I
go back
will.
to
That
that
worked. It's
ACL
okay.
thing.
It worked out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the ACL thing. You didn't leave the ground. What do you mean? It just like, did you juke yourself out? What happened there?
No, I went down like to jump off 2 feet and it popped and I just rolled kind of.
Oh,
I never got to jump. Like it just,
just,
I kind of just, if you can imagine, like I went to jump and then just kind of rolled and slid in the wall.
just-
My knee was like,
not today, son. Yeah. Yeah. I had one
no,
of those
not
when I would
today.
do that.
Denied.
Yeah.
Denied.
And then your junior year, like, was it class? Was it not
Ineligible.
showing up to practice?
Yeah, I was just not doing work, being
Just being a
doing
teenager.
things. And sure.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
cleaned
we'll
it
leave
up
it
my
at that.
senior year, and that's when we started balling.
So your
More
senior year,
third
your
base,
buddies.
more third base than pitching.
Oh, I could see you being a legit third baseman, just over there picking it like a booger. Now, my
Love
boy
it.
Chris was supposed to pitch. You step in on short rest and haven't really thrown in the last 2 years, which is fitting for your personality. You just go in and shove. Was that the moment it clicked and was like, man, I like this. I like dominating the other side.
Yeah, but I still had the want and love to play third base. So that was my choice if I wanted to go to college to try to play third base somewhere or sign in minor leagues and pitch.
So you
And
get drafted
to
by.
clear up real quick, I did throw for my old man in summer league. So I did pitch growing up. Like not like these guys, but I did pitch. I was behind the plate more. I did what you did more than anything until I was like 14. And then I started throwing for my old man when I got a little bigger.
Dude, I knew I loved
We
you.
do the
I
whole,
knew-
I always start behind the plate, do throwing, fifth inning comes, switch, give me the gear, you here, switch, all the time. So
Yeah, they would never do that now.
but I did throw. I didn't just jump in and start throwing. So I did throw in the summer.
Well, we can make it a cooler story if you want. Just be like, you just picked up a ball one day and it was like 98. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that works.
yeah, we'll just make it like that. But I love the fact that you were a catcher. No surprise. I knew you were part of the family, so that makes me really happy.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you probably grew a little bit too much. The gear didn't fit very long. So you want to be a third baseman. What made you decide, hey, I'm going to go in the 8th round of the Mets and take my chance here? Because, like, I mean, that's a bold move. And how bad minor leagues were then, I don't know if you knew.
It was, and not to mention the Mets weren't that great at that time either. So, which didn't matter to me because, the road there, it's obviously different when you get there. It still took me a while to get there. So who knows how good they would be when I got there or not. But, man, I don't know. I remember running polls and having, we used to run polls, same dude, before the games get loose and we would talk about each time out, hey, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? And I think one day we just came to the conclusion that I think you can still be good and do good in college. Obviously, many, many people do that. I don't know how I would have done grade wise. My old man says I would have figured it out because I did my senior year when I had to. But I think I just figured that I would get more professional help in the minor leagues and maybe the road would be a little quicker.
I love it. My dad actually said
And
the
then
opposite.
having to go through school. Yeah.
So I'm glad your old man said that. My dad said he never thought I'd actually get through class. So thanks, Dad. And I actually had a GPA.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought I would struggle.
Yeah,
that's what I would thought. But he said when you had something to shoot for, you did it. So he said once you got humbled your junior year, he's like, because I don't remember how my senior year was, it was fun, I know that, but school wise, he said no. He said he figured it out when you got humbled your junior year. So maybe I would have done good, but I felt like, get some professional coaching would be the route to go. Honestly, nothing against the colleges or the coaches there.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's got their own journey. So you get into pro ball. What was the biggest surprise?
The first thing that I just realized that these guys were good. Like I was like, I got no chance of making it. Like these guys are showing up and they're 10-1, 12-3, 30. I'm like, I never even pitched, I'm like, and they're just throwing gas. I remember my first, I think it was 95. Yeah. So when I signed, my first year in Gulf Coast, Dotel was in A-ball at Point St. Lucie, Octavio. And he was just throwing bullets, dude. And he just shoved. He picked off like 7 guys, just did everything. And I'm like, I got no chance of this guy's doing this, dude. I don't do this, And then the guys I play with, Brett Harbison, Roberts, can't think this other guy was really good too, lefty. Everybody would just bounce up, quickly year after year. And then I was just, doop, everybody kept going on. And I was like, dude. So it was just a big transition to try to learn how to, I just threw, man. That's obviously figured that, but, figuring out how to be a pitcher was interesting because I felt like I didn't even come close to belonging there with the group of arms and stuff.
It's funny. You're probably the only
But if you
guy
give
I've
me a
ever
bat,
talked.
I would have tried to hit him.
And
Hey,
that
give me a
never
bat,
changed.
Jay.
Dude, that never changed when you were
Never
35 years old trying to rake. And I'll
Yeah,
never forget the home run you hit. We'll get to that. But you're probably one of the only
yeah.
guys that didn't talk about the bus rides. You didn't talk about any of the grind. I'm the same way. I actually loved every minute of it. But when
Me
you're
too.
pitching, right, you're a guy, you had an elite fastball. When did the breaking ball come together? And when did the command start to come together along your journey? You're probably really raw, right? But obviously super competitive. When did it start to click as you were moving up? Because, yeah,
It
you're moving
clicked.
up slow, but they can see the talent.
I am. So I got traded from the Mets to the Marlins, an outlier trade. And when I showed up
Oops.
there,
Hey,
that's yeah, right. But when I showed up there, a different team with whole new faces and a whole new group. That's kind of when it just went off when I got over there and went to Kane County and just, it was a lot of fastballs by people at Kane County, but that's kind of when the hook started developing. Um, and then it came. I always kind of had it, but it seemed like the older I got, obviously the more I use it, the more I could figure out what to do with it. And then when I got to Toronto, actually when Orangeburg was a big influence on me in Florida. Then I had him in Toronto as well with Doc, the pitching coach. And we just crafted it, man. We threw it, we'd hold a glove down the ankle, hold a glove down on this side, hold a glove over here, and just AJ dropping here, dropping here, dropping here, dropping here, and just try to hit these spots over and over again, and just came repetitive. And obviously, as the older I got, the slot dropped just a little bit. Can't quite get that arm up as high as we used to, and then it becomes, I have both, but I'd say, Kane County really started. The light really went off. But when I first got around Orangeburg in the show, he taught me a lot.
so you mentioned some coaches. Is there any other names that you can think that had some influence? And honestly, when did you start throwing that knuckle curve? Because you kind of made
My
that
grandpa
patent.
showed me that.
Way back
My
when?
grandpa showed me that at 14 years old, 15, in summer league.
Wow. How
I
cool
couldn't
is
make
that?
I couldn't make a curveball do anything with that grip. I couldn't, it would just straight. So he's like, you grab it like this right here and you hold it right like that. You let go of it just like that and just hard as you can. I was like, all right. I threw that in the trees, dude. He got so mad at me. He's like, what the hell was that? I was like, I threw as hard as I could, man. His grip is weird as, but then I just kept messing with it and, in the yard and stuff and it came along. But that's who showed me. Yeah. My grandpa showed me that grip. He's like, you just
That's
hold it just like this.
wild.
Hold it just like that. Yeah.
You should have called it Gramps.
And then I should have. Romy. Should call it Romy.
You should have called it Romy. I like it. I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
that was his name. But we changed. We just called it Sir Charles, because a lot of people just bow down to it. So.
Truth.
Man, what I remember about AJ, my goodness, what has he meant to me? It's been real humbling, man. It's a humbling honor experience to be able to share the field, to share a relationship, friendship, man, with him. And when 2011 started, I wasn't there with the team, but the team made a run throughout the summer. And then 12 came around and we knew a lot of the organization could feel we were close, like really close, and we needed some key pieces. And I remember, man, when we got AJ, and I remember getting up to the big leagues in 12 and, spending that time with him and understanding like this guy, he demands excellence. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand from a player perspective is when he took the ball every 5 days, which he did. So he set an example there. But when he took the ball every 5 days, he demanded excellence. He demanded, that you play well. because this is the standard. And he set the standard, and he was the standard. Taking the ball every 5 days, playing with that heart, playing with that demeanor, playing with that attitude that he had. Like, that was one thing that, we were missing, I think, as an organization, is being respected. That P is respected now, or back then it wasn't as much as it is now. And he brought that respect back.
And how many dudes did you actually teach that knuckle curve to? That's one thing that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know a lot.
Dude, a lot. Dude, I remember so many times you're out there like this. You're like this.
Yeah, your pitchers are position players too.
Both. Yeah, it was always like everybody wanted to know how you did it.
I had everybody. Yeah. No, I just had weird ways to explain it, I guess. And it was just fun teaching them all it, cause I had visions when I threw it. I was always, when I worked on it, I always pictured this 4-foot wall between me and you, and Locke was the best, because Locke was like, 4-foot wall? What are you talking about? I'm like, well, I want my hook to skim over that 4-foot wall, and then I want it to disappear, back when I was up here. I don't want no loop. I had loop when I was young, you buckle people, but then the more you're in the league, people tend to see that, and oh, there it is. So I tried to skim that wall, and everybody pretty much got the wall thing but Locke, maybe because he was left-handed. But just different things to make me figure out how to throw this ball where I want to. I taught a lot of people. I taught Gabby. I taught him every day.
Yeah, he could.
Wore me out. Love him to death. Love you, Gabby. But damn, wore me out. Couldn't get it.
It was terrible. Yeah, I play catch with him. Sometimes they just roll out. It's like
I will tell you, Cole got it pretty quick. Oh yeah, quick. Just spun all like a UFO. Yeah, Cole got it quick, but we worked on it though. We worked on it a lot. He wore me out, and I stuck with him, and he, Cole just wanted to get better. That was one thing about him that I loved. Didn't matter what he did, he just wanted to be better next time. And yeah, we worked on it. He got it quick.
Yeah, you brought up Locke, so I'm going to go there for a second, dude. The way he followed you around like a puppy dog was the best. And one of my favorite Locke stories. So when Russell came in, he was like, "Hey, Mac, take over the scouting report, like kind of teach me this division, blah, 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 and tell me who our guys are that we got to worry about." And I said, Charlie Morton and Jeff Locke. They're going to overthink everything. He goes, "All right, let's come up with a plan." We came up with a plan. We made Jeff Locke every day. You didn't do this. Nobody else did this. Every time he pitched, he wrote down how he wanted to get every guy out early in the count, and then how he would get him out with 2K. It was a sheet this big. It looked like he was doing a report. About the time he got announced as an all-star, he started dropping the F-bomb. Was like, "Mac, I'm not doing anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. It's the same thing every day." I said, "That's the whole point, Locke." He just like, I'm sure he walked straight to you because you literally were telling him that every day in the bullpen, because you watch all of his bullpens.
Yeah.
And that's what's so funny about the game. Like, you get so caught up in the moment, you don't realize it really is that simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it until the game shifts.
You don't. I was one of those guys, I used to yell at Roach all the time, putting, papers in my locker. I don't throw a slider, Roach, get it out of here. I don't need this. But I would peek at it. Though, I'd peek at it and be like, okay, what's he do just in case late in the game? But I didn't want to overthink, man. I didn't want to, just in case. If I'm in a grind, I got Votto up. What's he looking at? What's he going to jump me right here? Is he going to be patient? Like, I don't know that, but I don't even know how to pitch everybody. I'm going to pitch until I'm going to throw you probably sinkers down and away. I'm going to run one in, sinker down and away, run one in until you make adjustment, and then I'm going to change. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I threw it. I think once Locke got that, he's like, oh, so it's not as complicated. I can just tack this guy the same as the other righty. I'm like, yeah. A righty's righty, pal. Until they turn and yank you way down the line, that's when you change. Like, I had to change on Rizzo. He finally got me open day in 13 after I front hit them to death.
Yep.
And he just stepped in that bucket. And
yep.
Dude, it was beautiful. He sold all out on it. I tipped my hat. I'm, big fan of him, big gamer. I like playing against him. But I pounded him the same way. Bam, 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 inside. And then he finally was like, well, guess what? He got heaters away and hooks the rest of the year. So, there you go.
He didn't like
with
that.
The occasional one in. No, he didn't. Yeah. So, yeah, it is simpler. But I was definitely one of the guys, the more info, was too much,
Yeah, you put a lot of trust in your guys. Like, even I didn't catch you often, handful of times. First time I caught you is because somebody got thrown out and put me in the Hell's Fire or Hell's Kitchen. It was absolutely insane in St. Louis. I'm sure you remember that. Didn't go well for either one of us. But I'll never forget what you said to me.
But,
It was like, hey,
every,
you hit me in the chest. You go, me and you, baby, let's just try to figure something out. And I walked back and I told the umpire, I was like, man, I don't feel good about this. And I think you dotted the first sinker down and away, and the guy just walloped it. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, breaking ball. You pulled it. I'm like, shoot, this isn't good. So yeah, it was a mess. You're already getting squeezed.
I had
Yeah. Nothing.
I had nothing, and that was at St. Louis, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was
Was that when Clint and Rod both got tossed?
Absolutely, and it was like in the
first
second
inning.
inning, maybe
Second inning.
Yeah.
Second inning. Yeah.
Got you twice.
I think I went like two more. I think I got two more outs. I think.
Yeah. You're like,
I think we got. I tried to eat it up, dude. I couldn't.
Dude, you were trying not to laugh as you walked off the mound because you were just like, what do I do? Like, it's just one of those days. Right?
Couldn't do it, dude.
And seeing Hurdle get mad is one of the like funniest things. So I always think he's going to choke on his gum. Like he starts turning red. And
I know.
Oh no.
He's better. He needs to spit it out on the way there. Yeah.
Yeah. Most
dudes
fired up. Get it here. Yeah. So fired up. And you think he's going to have a heart attack or choke to death? One of the two. Not sure. So, but hey, the next time I caught you, I'll never forget because it was probably 3 weeks later. I catch you in Philadelphia. Rod was banged up. Do you remember the curveball you threw to Utley by chance?
I do. It hit him in the back foot, didn't it?
Yeah, and I almost got this. I went to block it, and I'm like, hit him in the back foot. Hit him in the back foot. No replay. It went all the way to our dugout. I'll never forget it, and you were just cruising. So, yeah.
We had a high heater, dude. You were elevating that game. A lot of high heaters.
Dude, because you have that natural run. And I use you an example all the time when I talk to kids. I work with a lot of college kids into pro ball. And I'm saying, hey, dude, where's your natural miss? I learned this by catching AJ. He would dominate down and away with that sinker, and he would naturally miss in. And that was a pitch that is in. You don't have to go back in because when you go in and you have a sinker, you have a very small area to miss. And a lot of times you guys pull back across. If you dominate, get your extension, and you run one in, they don't know any different. There's no hitter that's like,
well, that's the point right there. I think first thing I tell guys is don't let them know you did it on purpose. That's one of the main things. Like Halladay told me that a long time ago, and it stuck with me. So when I run one up there, I'm not gonna bang my glove. I'm not gonna shake my head. I'm just gonna grab it and be like, okay, that's what I meant to do. And I think a lot of guys saw that and then fed off of that when I was in Pittsburgh. Like that was one of the main things. Got a lot of guys, through those couple of years I was there, asking, "Hey, did you mean to do that? Or did you mean to throw that pit?" I'm like, "No, I just went there, man. I have no idea where it's going sometimes, but nobody's gonna know that because, like you said, you don't have to throw in if you accidentally miss in and they think you missed in on purpose."
Yeah, dude.
Simplify it, like we just talked about.
I think you're the definition of having intent in every pitch you threw. And one thing that I want to share with the fans that probably not many people know, you had a thing where, hey, if I get a ball by you, steak dinner. You always used to say that. Like
I do.
You wanted to throw the breaking ball and challenge us to keep it in front. And that was the mentality, right? I'm going to make sure this guy sees it coming out of my hand so hard, so fast that he's swinging at my hand. And dude, you would be all over pitching ninja now. If you think about some of those swings. and I'm going to give you some credit before we roll back into your Marlins no-hitter. You did a great job of manipulating your breaking ball. And how simple it was to catch AJ's breaking ball is if I wanted it for a strike, I moved on the arm side of the plate to give him bigger window so it falls in. When I wanted the tickets or I wanted the swing and miss pitch even early in the count, I get on the other side of the plate. He sees that early target and he does what he wants. And I remember you threw a couple from here, like completely sidearm, and it's a literal slider or slurve. It was disgusting. Like, where did that come from? He's like, I just felt like he was going to swing. It was against, I think it was against Hanley Ramirez. I'm like Rain Man when it comes to at bats, I guess. But yeah, dude, you are amazing at manipulating your breaking ball. You should give yourself a lot more credit for that.
Well, thanks for it. I appreciate it. I mean, it was my, I always thought my heater was my bread and butter because I always threw gas. But, the one pitch that never left me was that hook. Eventually your velo goes down, this and that. So I do take pride in the way I worked on that craft with that pitch throughout my career because, early Marlin days, like you said, no hitter, one of them. just all fastballs, man. Like just, with the occasional hook. So it was a big play.
So before we go to that
And the back to the steak dinners. Yes. If you guys, that's one thing that was easy throwing y'all because y'all took pride in that because you knew that it's going to bounce no matter what. Like I'm not throwing this ball, they can hit it, and y'all took pride in that. Like there was no chance that one was getting the backstop, and for a pitcher that throws 75% of hooks in the dirt, that's awesome. That makes us better. So thank you for it.
Dude, I loved it. If you
I was blessed. I had you got, I had you, I had Servy, Rod, even Redmond. God, even Zonnie loved blocking and things, dude. The whole Zonnie. Like I was just blessed with them over my career. I had great catchers that just loved, Molina, even Posada, dude. He'd be like, throw in the dirt. Let's go. You sure? It's going to come in hot. Let's go. Another one. So it's just good to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and I haven't come across a catcher that hasn't. Yeah, but it helps us when you guys take so much pride in the little things like that. And that's a big thing, but it's also a little thing compared to what you guys go through on your daily routine as a big league catcher.
Dude, I appreciate that. Very, very kind words.
AJ Burnett, amazing teammate, better person, somebody that we all looked up to as he pitched for a long time in the big leagues, and then having him as a teammate with the Pirates was somebody that just kind of led by his attitude, his presence, and the way he went about his business. He was somebody that was going to show up every 5 days, pitch, and give you his best, and somebody that we really kind of all fed off of to have that run that we had in 13 and then beyond, because he just brought this kind of leadership that wasn't very vocal, but how he carried himself, how he went about his business, and what he expected of his teammates was known. And for that, I'll always appreciate him as a teammate, and live on forever, Batman.
I want to ask you about your changeup before we get back to the storytelling. Why did you hate it?
I felt like it gave hitters a chance. That's how good my fastball was throughout my career.
I completely agree.
I was never able to take a lot of speed off of it. So it was more like an 89 to 91 splitty that didn't split.
That's what I was gonna ask. If, like in today's game, all the pitch design, everything that's available, do you think that split would have been part of your arsenal? I really believe you profiled.
I would have used it a lot more. I would use it a lot more. Yes.
Yeah, I think you would have had
100%.
And you would have had this, and that. Oh,
which that'd been great to know, or just be able to see it, because to be able to see it, because you want to see yourself doing right. That's when you're going to remember it, So I think, like I was talking to Paul about it, or talking to Ashcraft, one or two, I forget what I was talking about, and they throw these bullpens, and every pitch they're looking back. I'm like, I don't know if I could do that, man. Like I need to get my 18 to 20 in, bam, and then go back and be like, hey, let me see that third pitch and the changeup I threw. I look at it that way, but I don't know if I could. Maybe I could. I don't know if it's back there every time. I don't know if I. Like I know when I throw a pitch is good. I know when I do, but then again, a lot of it's great. A lot of it's great stuff, like you said. Like if I'd have had that, I probably would use that a lot more, because you saw how effective it was even the righties when I did start using it.
Yeah,
So
I think that's where it played the most. To lefties, not so much, because it did kind of go right into their bat speed. But going back to that point, I could get hot about that whole technology. I'm with you. I don't want a guy turning around. I want him to feel it, right? And then, hey, that was the one. That's the one I like. And then go back and look at it and say, okay, because a big reason, in my opinion, we're having all these arm injuries is because they're chasing what the real in the field, right? So they're saying, oh, just get on top of this a little bit more. I'm like, bro, moving your freaking arm up 2 inches hurts sometimes. Like, what are we doing? Drop it down a little bit. I'm like, do that in catch play. That's what we used to do in catch play. I loved walking out and either watching you guys or catching flat grounds and seeing you guys try new things. Like, oh, that's it, man. You really had a good cutter right there. Stayed through. Didn't see a dot. It just looked like it was just spinning with white.
Yeah.
And that. Then you go, okay, now we take it on the mound and fiddle, but that's not a thing anymore. It's wild to me.
I will say my mind's been changed a lot on it going to camp. Yeah. Being around Bill Murphy, like I didn't know anything really about him. And
Bill's cool.
He is he's a special man. Like he's good at what he does. And
Mm-hmm.
he knows what guys really need it a lot and what guys might just want to hear it, you know? So he has an idea of what's overload for some people, which was great. But as far as what they have going on with some of this stuff, I think some of it's really, 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 but
Yeah,
I don't know
dude,
if
it's
I could, I don't
incredible.
know if I could do it on the mound. Like I don't want it taking over what my focus was on that bullpen today.
Yeah, you'd be one of those
You know?
oversimplified guys, and then in the off season, be like, "Hey, man, we're just gonna try to get more vertical movement down with that split." Like that's it. That's all you have to say. Then it'll say up there if it's good or not. But like you can tell if it dots
Yeah.
down, it's good. You know. And it's
Right.
funny, AJ. I was with Tampa Bay my last year. I was starting to learn all this. I knew I was gonna lead into coaching, and that's where I'm going eventually. And I could tell them the numbers and how this guy should pitch with his pitches and what pitches could possibly coming in the future. And khaki pants couldn't figure it out. They're like, "How do you know this?" I was like, "I've caught thousands of bullpens. He's a high spin guy. He's got good extension, creates deception. It's playing harder than it is. He needs a better breaking ball. And I'd love to see a split and a cutter." And they're like, "What?" Sure enough, that's what he ended up doing. They're like, "Dude, can we sit down and talk?" I'm like, "Sure, but you have to put on shorts and come out and play catch with these guys." And they did.
Yes.
And
yes.
all those dudes got respect. And they couldn't catch when they first started. It was hilarious.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Well, I mean, they can't
That's
do anything
great.
without their khakis. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Right? It's the power
We
of the
didn't have
khakis.
khakis. We had some college kids in there that were just geniuses. They were. It was wild, man. Like it was wild. But like I said, for some people, it's good stuff. Like I guess some of these kids just need more research, more visuals. You know, a lot of things are on devices today. You know, like you show my son something on the video game, dude, he's gonna remember it, you know, the rest of his life. You know, because he saw it on streaming or something like that. You know, he's gonna remember it because that's just what so maybe seeing. You know, some people may need that. You know, so
Yeah,
I mean, I get it now. Like I said, I've been. You know how I was about it all. Like I was so anti, like just. But I think some of it's very good, man.
I think it's incredible, especially at the elite level. It gives you direction. And for me in my career, it would have not allowed people to put limits on me. And I learned that, especially in Tampa Bay, the way the ball came off my bat.
That's a good way to put it.
I had elite skills that I never knew. Like I didn't know how hard my X velocity was. I didn't know I had a bad angle to the ball. I didn't know any of that. And it would have literally changed my world. I would have hit a lot more home runs.
Right.
I would have understood the pitches I need to swing at. And I think that's the most important thing. I think it's incredible for injury prevention if they used it that way. They don't. That's a whole nother story for another day. But let's go back to the Marlins. I want to hear about that no-hitter. It wasn't typical, but it was awesome.
No.
Because you did it in AJ Burnett's way. I'm not coming out, whether I walk the house or punch out the house, I'm not coming out. I'm taking this no-hitter home. And you did. What'd that feel like?
I did. Yeah. It was awesome because, you know, obviously you never really think about throwing one. And then, you know, you realize halfway through the game that you did throw one. And what CJ and I went through and our defense that game. I mean, we talk about a no-hitter, you talk about luck, talk about defense, you talk about a key hit. I had all that, you know, Gonzalez was making crazy plays. Owens in the outfield, D-Lee's picking stuff and tagging people. It's all crazy. It was all around just one of those days that you knew it was going to be special come the sixth inning. And it was really comical because, you know, you mentioned it, it wasn't the cleanest no-hitter, which is the reason why I shot for one every single start after that. Was because it was not tight. So I was like, I'm throwing one today. I got close five other times, I think, but I never got another one.
You got close twice in a Pirates uniform, didn't you? Once
I did.
with the Cubs.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Cubs and Worlds at home, I think. I think it was KC, I think. Maybe.
That was after I left. Yep.
But it was just, dude, you'll love it, dude. I threw 128 pitches that day. I threw 121 fastballs. And it was mostly.
Will you say that again for the cheap seats?
128 pitches, 121 fastballs. And it was just, Charles just put this down. Every time I look, it'd be this right here. I'm like, okay. And I just throw it. And it was running, jumping. He came out in the 6th inning and he came out. I don't know if we had a couple outs or not. It might have been the 5th. And he's got this big ass grin on his face because we got a runner at second. And we go over the signs. I'm like, what? He goes, hey man, I just realized we had a no hitter going. I go, are you kidding me? He goes, AJ, you had dudes on base every inning, because we had those walks, I hit a guy. I think I hit the leadoff guy. I think I broke Damian Jackson's thumb, I think. And I'm like, CJ, yes, we have, okay, you get back there. And he's like, you didn't know because every inning, he's like, all right, we got runners second. But no runners scored either. That was another thing. That was a play in right field. Eric Owens saved the run. I think Davis tried to tag up. And he said, just the keys, the plays and defense, like none of those 8 walks. Was it 8 or 9? It was
9.
8, 9. I don't know. We'll say 8. None of them scored. So
that's all that matters, right?
Well, I did have to do umpire 1
9
knee behind
plus a
TJ.
hit by pitch.
I couldn't even see it. Plus, hey, let it go, man. Let it go.
Yeah.
Just throw it, man. But I mean,
I don't think that was the day you hit the truck, but that's okay.
No, I knew where I was going. I knew exactly where that was going. But every 2-seamer that day, I had no idea where it was going when it left my hand halfway. Like they were all like looking good, but when they got halfway, dude, it was going everywhere. And he's like, we're just gonna throw them. So we threw 121 of them.
Dude, are you sure like the ball wasn't possessed that day? Just like maybe need an exorcism
it might have
that
been,
day?
dude.
Just out of your hand as demon.
It was fun.
Oh, that would have been
a blast. It was moving a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was a riot.
Yeah, but like you're one of very, very few that have any stat line like that ever. Just remember that.
True.
You know what I mean?
This
like
is
you
why
did
I
it.
try
You did
to
it
throw
with
another one every time out.
Yeah, dude, you're missing grenades, shrapnel coming at you. You just kept going, no problem. And then you broke some things, which is awesome. Yeah. So 2002 is your breakout year. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers right now. 12-9, 203 ticks, but 3.30 ERA. And I was thinking about how good that Marlins team was in 01, 02, and 03. Just like talk about, you guys had to come up together, I'm sure. Like all the dudes you're talking about, D. Lee, everybody that's on that team. Name some of those guys that you came up with and how that started to come together. Because, dude, that was one of the better teams. I was in high school, 02, 03. And I remember watching so many games because Braves, Tennessee. So I was watching Florida. And they were just boat racing. Some of the best pitching in baseball.
Yeah, it was. I came up with Penny. So when I got traded from Mets to Florida, I was in A ball, and a lot of those guys were already in AA. And
Big old Brad?
AAA, I think.
You talking about
not
B.
Brad.
Penny?
Brad was in Penny. Yeah, he came up when I was in AA. We came up together.
Dude, I love that guy.
I knew him. He was the best.
He's the best.
The
we
rest
do USA
of the,
baseball
rest of the
together.
group were together.
He's the best. Yeah.
Dude,
you guys should be best friends if you're not.
He's a great person.
Yeah, you guys are the same person.
He's my pal.
Yeah, you guys are the same person.
I've heard that a couple times. Then those guys that were already up in 99 when I got called up, they had all came up together. So I got them all. I got used to them all in spring training. That was my first big league spring training was 99. But in 98, like I said, I was an A-ball. So I didn't really know much of the guys at all. Then Beckett shows up and then Willis shows up and, with this ungodly leg kick. And then the Texas, heater from down, they were just, Pavano shows up after that. I mean, we had him in his prime of his career too. So we had pitching, man, in that team for sure.
And you had,
it was fun, dude.
D. Lee at first.
Am I missing one? D. Lee at first, Castillo at second, Gonzalez at short, Lowell at third.
Short. And then Cabrera came up in 03, right? When you guys won the World Series?
He started in at third, but then went to the outfield.
Oh,
he came up in 03.
Big body running out there is wild.
No, he wasn't big body back then, dude. He was he was I think he's like Connor Griffin.
Oh,
like he was just
freakish,
jacked, like just thin, freakish, just playing third, just blowing bubbles. Just like, who's this kid? Juan Pierre in center.
Oh,
Juan Encarnacion,
love
we
it.
had him. And then we picked up Carnine and Pudge and a few other arms down the road. But we had a squad, dude. It was a fun group, dude. Even our like I talk about all the time, I got a chance to see Foxy this spring, and it was great. Andy Fox. We had some of the best bench role players that I've ever been around too on that team with Mike Mordecai, Andy Fox,
Oh
Mike
yeah,
Redmond,
yeah,
Lenny
yeah, yeah.
Harris. When we had all time, dude, on our team, and it was just like those guys were so clutch and winning. People don't understand how yeah, the starters and the superstars do their job. They do great, but there's always that sub. There's always that move late in the game. There's always something, and these dudes came through every single time, man. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that's talked about enough. Like, if you can have a bench that is willing to take that role, selflessness, and own it, it changes everything because they're gonna be needed whether they step in to be a starter or in those big
Yes,
moments they know the role they fit. And when you're mentioning those names, like that fits their personality. But like if you look across the board over the last 10 years, no championship was won without the bench stepping in at some point and having some big moment. So you're exactly right. But
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
man.
hard to accept that, right? It's hard to say, oh yeah, I don't want to start. I don't want to play as much. But when you have a team culture like you're talking about, we had in Pittsburgh, it's easy to say
Yeah, yeah,
whatever you
yeah.
need,
That's it.
whatever you need.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever you need me that day to help us win, and that's what we had both spots. Pittsburgh and Florida, and a couple teams have been all that way. It's special.
So
But you talk about real quick. Hold on. You talk about the arms.
yeah.
You should see the BP that we took with me, Penny, and Beckett and Willis.
Of course,
You
it
should have
goes
seen
back.
that
Okay,
BP.
all right. I got to
That
ask
goes
because
back then.
okay, I know Penny well. I got to know Beckett this past year. He was at a USA event with me. All right, who wins in a home run derby? And if you say you, I think we should get it all together
I
and see
think
now.
Dontrell. Are we talking about
No,
prime
no,
like
no.
during those
Dontrell
years?
doesn't count. Yeah, Dontrell doesn't count. We're gonna stick with the white boys, white country boys all the way. Who
Well,
wins?
Dontrell would have
Dontrell
won it. He
doesn't
would have
count.
won it.
100%. He doesn't count. He raked.
I mean, we all hit bombs. Um, I don't know if I'd have
And
won it, but
remember,
I gave a run for the money. I mean, I don't know, man. That's tough, dude. We were maybe Josh. Josh could swing it, dude, but only during BP. Bless his heart.
yeah, I watched him.
But I don't
I
know.
was catching when he
I feel
hit.
like
Mm.
I feel like I felt like I would have won it probably.
I was gonna put my
Worst
money
thing I
on you
ever
or
did was
Penny.
hit my first one. Yeah, Penny would hit. I mean, dude, we had fun. It was fun.
Penny's a
We had
large
Arnie, like I
human.
mentioned, Arnie. He is. He's very
Yeah.
strong.
Yes. Yes. So
BP was
my
he was a good friend.
I love it. We're
Still
gonna
is.
all get together and I'll throw batting practice. We'll see who wins. Now,
Give me 2 weeks, I'm in.
well, you know Penny's playing
Get
pickleball right now,
get
so
the
he's got that
obliques in.
snap.
I know he's in the
Yeah.
best shape of everybody, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he covers. I don't know. I don't think he has to move. He just goes like this.
Yeah, I played it once. Wasn't for me. But I got a lot of friends that do it, and it's just quick movements. Like I don't need to pop a knee or doing something quick, trying to spike it and hurt somebody. I don't need to do that. Let's just
Dude,
go have a cordial, fun game. But they get like cutthroat, get serious goggles and like
dude, he comes in with his
I want to see.
backpack and I'm like, where are you
It's
going
got
today?
everything, dude.
And dude, it's like a dodgeball league underground. He's going to some dude's house that he's never met because they reached out in their pickleball site. And I'm like, Penny, if I never see you again, I love you, man. See ya. Like, what do you mean
He's
you're
a
going to
spokesperson
somebody's
or something for him,
under?
I think, right? Like he's part of
Yeah,
the like he's in it, which is good for him,
yeah,
dude. I mean, a lot of people search for that love once they get out of the game, dude, and him to find it like that's awesome.
no doubt. All right,
Still
so
looking. Mine's fishing, I think.
fishing or driving big things over
Yeah,
even bigger things,
in mud or through
mud's
them.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
either way.
dude. I love it. I feel like I do that with my body, and that's why I'm having my 6th knee surgery.
Probably.
So
Or you did it. You did
yeah,
it too.
I did it.
That's
I
why
did
it
it.
was.
So
Yeah.
there's something that I love about you is you always throw credit back to your teammates. You always share love. You always share the wins. There's a guy that you brought up so much when I just sit and listen because I used to sit and listen to you guys talk all the time. Just be kind of a rat on the wall, just listening. And you always talked about your man Halladay. Go deeper into that because he really impacted you. Your entire warm up, everything you did was based off the way he went about it. And you said he was one of the most relentless competitors and workers you ever played with or ever saw. Just go deeper into that because everybody has that guy. I think it's cool that it was, multiple years into your career, you're a free agent, you go to Toronto, and then you meet this guy that, in my opinion, is a psychopath, which I love. And you just kind of wrapped your arms around him.
I did. I thought I prepared, for a big league start before, but I didn't even know what I was doing compared to this guy when I showed up in Toronto.
What did it look like?
I got a good contract. I don't know. It just looked like you said, almost like a demon possessed, but in the right way, if that makes sense.
He just shifted?
Like I was, huh?
Did
Me?
he just shift?
No,
I know you did. I know you did in
oh.
Pittsburgh, but did he do that? That's kind of where you learned that mentality?
I think this is what he was, man. And he, it's where I learned to do me, and other people will watch if you do it right. That was the main thing I took from
Well
Doc.
said.
Doc didn't really care what anybody thought. He didn't really care what anybody thought he did. He was going to do Doc. He knew it was right for Doc, and it was right, 99% of the time. So that's what the main thing I took with him was just, if you go out and you be a pro and you do it right, which we're not going to do it right every time. We're not going to be a pro every time, which we try. I got hot headed on the field. I've done some dumb on the field. We all have. But for the most part, if you do it right, you got a lot of eyes on you. And I knew coming to that young team that I would have a lot of young eyes on me. So I learned that from him. I was always pretty serious on game day, so I really didn't get that from him. But as far as like preparation wise, preparing on day 2 instead of on day 4, like using your bullpen to actually work on something to get ready for your next start instead of just going and throwing pitches and seeing how hard you can throw because you threw 98, and it was for a watch. So you just want to throw 42 of them, and, actually have a purpose behind things. The best story that I love telling is when we first got up to Toronto, we were contrasting, I was in the cold and he was in the heat. And, I talked to him a little bit in spring here and there, but he's got his regimen. I ain't gonna mess with him. I got mine. We're kind of feeling, learning each other. So we're sitting there and he's like, "Say, so what is your approach, when you're on the mound?" I was like, "What? No, what?" I didn't say
what.
I didn't say that, but I was like, I'm like, "What do you mean, man? Like going at people?" He's like, "Just like, when you start a game, like when you go into the game, what's your approach?"
Dude,
for
you're
hitters?
7 years in the big leagues and he's asking you what's your approach. You're like, what?
I said, I threw a ball. I said, I'm going to throw a heater as hard as I can and get ahead twice. And then I'm going to bounce a hook. I never heard this man laugh so much and so loud out loud than he did. And I was like, "What's so funny?" He's like, "That's your approach?" And I'm like, "Yeah, get ahead, put him away. I got 2 pitches, Doc. I don't have 6 like you." Dude, and he just was like red, dude. And he was dying laughing. And then, that's kind of when I started, learning that I had 4 to 6 different fastballs. I had 4 curveballs I didn't have 2 pitches, dude. I had 6, but I only saw myself as a 2-pitch pitcher. So, but that story, dude, I love telling that because, dude, he just straight up, like, if you looked up horse laugh, it'd probably have that gif of that meme of Doc just horse laughing me for saying that. But that was my approach. I threw hard, so I tried to get the first 2 by you, and then here comes a bouncer, dude. If you hit it, good luck, but I'm just trying to punch your ticket as fast as I can. That's just it. I want to go past 4 or 5 pitches. So he opened my eye to that. But dude, watching the man day in and day out, dude, was just like insane. Like I was that guy maybe 2 days out of the week, coming up, but I wasn't as complete as I was when I came to you guys. Like I felt like the reason that I was around him was because, or the reason that I went to Pittsburgh was because of what I learned from him. Like there was a reason for everything. And, I think I've told you this before. I've told a million people this before. I never saw myself as a number 1 or elite leader of a team or be able to take over a team or a city like that. Never in my life. And I wouldn't have if I hadn't played with that dude. You know, I'd not be Batman if I hadn't come across Roy Halladay. So just what it is.
Wow.
You know, he always be special to me in that regard. You know, I had a good contract. But I went to play in Toronto because of a guy named Roy Halladay, and worked out in my favor.
So did you
Pretty much.
meet him before you signed that contract? Like you said, you went there
I
because
flew
of
up
him.
one time. Yeah, I went. I met him. Yeah, we went out in Toronto, saw the stadium. Arnie was there, and he was there, and they're blaring beautiful people and lights are flashing. I'm like, that's cool. It's kind of dope, but then we went and had dinner with Halladay, and then I think we spent some time with him, and it's just like, man, I need to be around this dude. I just need to be around this guy. That's all it's gonna take.
Wise
I guess,
decision.
in a way, I think I was the lock. I followed that dude around like a puppy.
I was
I
literally
did,
going to
dude.
say that,
I'm not gonna deny it. I'm not gonna deny it one bit.
but that's why
Until
you embrace it.
until 08,
Right.
when we both ran for 20 together, and almost got it together. But I followed him around like a puppy, dude, and I picked up everything I do put down.
Dude, that's what it's all about though, right? But you gave back, right? Me and Jack Wilson talk about it all the time. Like, I'll never not want to give back to the game that's given me so much. Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
and that's something that you remember. And the guys that kind of embark that on you, you want to make sure to return that to somebody. And you did that for a lot. You did that for a lot of guys. I thought you did a great job with a lot of the bullpen guys that nobody really hears about. Brian Morris's guys that, you would kind of set them in a better
Link.
straight line path. Yeah. Link. Yes.
Link.
Yes.
Ooh,
Notice what happened when he left,
bulldog.
right?
What a bulldog.
Yeah. Super bulldog. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
no, I did.
so-
I tried. The only thing I still laugh about was when I tore Willie and Locke apart. Because they threw, I guess, in the minor leagues all the way up, and I was like,
Yep.
"You're a starter and you're a bullpen guy." And then after that, I was like, hey, "Jay, are you talking bad about bullpen guys or something?" So that's when I made it a point to let them know that they're just important, as we're a group here. But I'm throwing with the starter.
that's
You need
not
to go-
real. That's
You need to go-
kind of fake, right? Like you kind
What's
of felt
that?
that way. You just did the right thing there. You
Oh
don't really feel that
no,
way.
no.
Yeah, starters
Yeah,
always get
no, I
the cream of the crop. Let's go.
Well, we're starting.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? And I'm going to dig myself a little bit. You know what Wilson and Locke have in common? They're in the book.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Ask
That's
Locke about it
awesome.
when you talk to him next time. Ask him about my first at bat back to Pittsburgh. Be like, did you get a gift from McKenry? He said he sent a gift over in the bushes.
Well,
All right. So hopefully you heard that, Locke and Wilson.
Who
You're
went
welcome.
further? Who went further?
Oh, Wilson's. I had it. It was in the minor leagues right before I got
Probably because he
traded to
threw harder. He
Pittsburgh.
threw cheese.
Well, not as a starter, dude. He was 91 to 93. Threw me a little baby cutter. He gone. But Locke,
So that was before
Locke
I
threw me
met
that
him.
change too many times. I hit the pole, and you know what Rod always said? I was a pole smoker. So there we go.
Old smoker after that. It's fine. I've played with a lot of them.
Exactly.